somebody told me 25 years ago, punk was dead. They were wrong! For me, what punk to me, what means to me is like, just like, I'll be true to myself. I do things that I want to do. If someone tells me to do something, I won't do it. I mean, like I'll do things that I want to do, and and it's like, even if it's wrong, even if I know it's like maybe do it the other way is better, I'll still do it my way because that's okay. I live my life the way I want to live it. When I first heard punk music, it changed my life. Like, it's hard, unless you love the music, it's hard to explain, but it changed my life. And then when I started a band, and punk, according to the papers, punk was like dead. It was, they thought it was another fashion, just another fashion. Then you had New Romantics at Stanley Valley, rubbish. And then you got Green Day, they're rubbish as well, and Merley, and I saw. But what happened with punk music was, it gave up the working class, like people like who grew up with nothing. It was like music for the working class. It was like a voice. It was like we could get our anger out through our lyrics, and the music was aggressive. It's like you heard a movie called Trainspotting. Yeah. Right. Well, that movie was based on the era I was brought up, and it was fucking bad, really, really bad. It was in the I used to say it was Grattan Terrace, but it was in the Poulton and Granton area. That's and all the places that showed you that's where I grew up in. It was like wild. It was pretty bad. Like at first it was like a big fortress. Like they built it was like a big fortress. So all these like maze type places. But now it's all been knocked down. It's been. But that was it. It was like it's where they put the working class. It was like a working class area. And put them on the edge of town, down by the sea. Hopefully they'll jump in the water. But I do. For me, that's what punk was. It was like it gave us it was like there was so much poverty, and it's like guys. And I lived in a place called Western Hills, and that's even like it's one of the worst places in Edinburgh. And I used to work up there on a government job scheme, like work for no money, and it was just like fucking shit. So for me, punk music when it came along, it was like the energy. We could sing to it, we could relate. For me, I used to think like it was said violent music was said violent at the time. I was like, really bad. You could really let yourself go every time. But when I look back at it now, when I listen to the songs, I'm going, it's really slow. It's really slow. It's like walls. But it was a release. It's like when I used to go on stage, I used to the songs I used to sing. Well, I've always sung songs that like the things that I see or see on TV or happens to me or my friends. I think we're the only band that's really, well, I really believe in the music. For me, I've done it for more than half my life. The first album, Punks Were Dead, took 3 days, cost £600, sold out it wasn't sold about 500,000 records. Never got any money. But anyway, that was the first album. That's all we knew, 3 days, and the last album, it took us 2 years in the studios, and all the money went on the producer and recordings and studios. Well, we got £10 a day. That's what we got. That's what the band got. £10 a day for something to drink. That's like 15 euros. Fucking rubbish, merdy. Anyway, but it's like it costs us 100. Well, it costs they got 100 grand. But for me, it's worth it. Because we don't see any money back off the records because we spend everything on the records. The last album we done was the most personal album. All our songs are about real life, about real problems. Oh, my problems! Last album was about me, my problems. It was hell! The last 6 years of my life, last 6 years have been great. Shite! Nervy! But I've got over it now. There's some guy in LA wanted us to go into a recording studio for a day to record a live album, and he'd give us like $20,000. Wow. Right, and I told him to stick up his ass, I told him to go fuck off. Because if I'd done that, then everything that I believe in, all the shit I put up with over the years, it would be worth, it wouldn't mean anything. So. And we done Beat the Bastards, all these magazines like Crying, Metal Hammer, all these blah blah, all these so-called big magazines. We done Beat the Bastards, they fell in love with ourselves because it was such a good album. But some of the reviews, some of the people thought, oh, it's a bit metal, it's always a bit metal. But it wasn't a bit metal. The Exploited we've always played fast. From the beginning, we've always played like faster than other punk bands live. But the only difference was we never had the knowledge, or we never met the right producer, someone who could get us what we wanted. And plus, we're the best guitarist we ever had when we Beat the Bastards. But we never gave him a credit on the album because before it was finished, he fucked off. I put my son's name on. My son was 7, and I put his name on as a guitarist. Beat the Bastard, it's a bit metal, but it's just like with the budget of 20 grand, and GBX had the budget as well, 20 grand to do their album, and the record company said, well, with 20 grand, that's the most money we'd ever had for a record, ever. So for us it was a fortune, but they said you can spend like £5, and keep the money. We spent £60,000. Altogether we spent £60,000 on that album. GBX spent maybe 1,000 or 2,000 on theirs and kept the money, whereas we spent everything on the album. We're still doing gigs. We still get to play gigs. We've got a bigger audience. Because we've got like we get punks, skinheads, skaters, metal kids. Like we get a right crossover for young to old, and for me that's a great thing because like if you watch it, most of the old punk bands in the UK, like you go to see them, it's mostly people like in their late 30s, 40s, people it's followed them for years, but there's hardly any young kids there because they don't do any new records that are good. But when we do our set, we play half and half, and you can and most 60% of the people who are there are young kids, but to me is like makes it worthwhile all the money, time and effort we spent on it. That's a good thing. we never get any acknowledgement or respect for the press in the UK, never. And not that I care, but it just makes it harder to try to get your gigs advertised and stuff. And for years they never do that, With such a violent, not like an intensely violent club. We see lots of people get drunk and end up fighting at clubs, and the one going to pay the band, and they were just like smashing the clubs up and everything, blah blah blah. But that was normal. The first 10 years, all I'd really done, well, first 5, all I'd done was get drunk every night, get pissed every night, and end up fighting and somebody at the clubs. And for me, I thought that was normal. I've had loads of different band members, but a lot of that's still to me. I used to take a lot of drugs. I used to. And I know in the past I used to be like, I thought I was okay, but I was a bit. In the past I used to be a bit like deranged, like. But I just thought I was normal, but obviously I wasn't there. I wasn't the nicest person that's supposed to be around. And a few gigs were fought on stage, and the gig's over. 2 songs. We can't really understand what the Exploited are about, because we're not just like a normal punk band. For me, we're like a reality band. 2 years ago, we got banned from Canada for 2 years. It was a massive riot, like over $1 million damage. 44 cars got set alight, well, damaged. 5 police cars got set alight. Great. Two and a half years, we couldn't get gigs. Our first gig was in the YMCA for €7. It was rubbish! That was good. No one would give us gigs because we weren't trendy. We weren't trendy enough, and we were too violent, and there were too many skinheads following the band, and blah 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 blah. Now there's phobia playing here. Do you hear? When I first started with the band, I used to believe that I could change things through your music. I thought you could actually, you can, but what I think now is you can't really change anything. But what you can, especially governments, but what you can do, people like can relate something, maybe change some people's minds. Like who reads the lyrics and stuff, you can maybe change some people's minds, but regarding governments and things, the only thing that they understand is violence. It's the only way you can get a reaction of the governments if the people stand up and protest. But now with America and Great Britain, it's hard to protest about anything because they bring in all these rules, and it's like if you see people standing on the court, if you're standing, you can say like, oh, you're part of a gang, you've got to move on. And it's just fucking shit. Politics is like, what's it? It's like, when Margaret Thatcher was in power, she kept punk going for 10 years. Maggie, she was a cunt, but what I respected with Margaret Thatcher was, if she said she was going to do something, she would go and do it. With Tony fucking Blair, well, fucking Tory Blair. It was like, it's like, well, he says something, but what he does, what he says and what he does is totally different. He's a total liar. You just can't trust him, eh? And same with George Bush. I can't understand how the British people can vote these people into power. They're just like fucking wankers. I hate politics, I hate the government, and I hate being told what to do, and I hate liars. We were in America, like I said, a month ago, and there was a woman on the plane, and she had a t-shirt on, had Meet the Fuckers. There's a movie called Meet the Fuckers. Yeah. Right, well, she had a picture of George Bush and one of his cabinet members, and had Meet the Fuckers, and the people on the plane complained, and she got kicked off the plane. And it's like, where's the right to free speech, right? I mean, and it's like, the only free speech you have over there is if it's what they want to hear. You don't tell to any free speech over there. The American system is fucked. And for me, what's good about music, music's free, doesn't cost anybody anything. It's like I can't sing. 3 years ago, my son, he was 7 then, and I was watching a video, exploited video on TV. I went, Jamie, he was like, what? I went, well, your dad's famous. He goes, how's that? I went, let's watch him on TV. He goes, Dad, he goes, but you can't sing. He goes, you just shout. I went, Jamie, you're right. I mean, but it's true. He can tell you. When I watch a band, I go to see a band, and I watch their faces to see if they're just playing that just for the money, or if they really kind of playing it because they love the music. And it's like, well, and when I watch this Russian support band, SPK or SPF, and I was saying it reminded me of myself, like the Exploited when we started when I was younger. It reminded me of the same energy, the same like passion, the same like you could see it in their eyes that they were just loving playing their music. And for me that's a great thing. For me the only British bands that I respect are GBH. They're great guys, great best. And I Charlie to some James Brown, the punk. James Brown, the text machine. He's a great guy. Well, you've got the American, you've got British style punk bands, and you've got the straight edge, and you've got like your crossover bands there, and but that's your version of punk. What you think punk is? I mean, it's like bands like Elastic Front, Cro-Mags. They were the original hardcore. Well, that's American hardcore was American punk. That was at its rawest. Most powerful was Elastic Front, the Cro-Mags, Kraut, TNI, all the Green Day, Gangrene, I might say. I met Green Day at a music awards. They got crying and invited me down to present an award. So they knew that I hate fucking Green Day. So the award was for the best live band, best international band, and they were in the category. So they won it. So after a couple of hours after drinking that, they had an after party. So sitting there with my ex-girlfriend, we're sitting there, and the singer, and the Green Day comes up, and he's like, I'm sitting there, and he stands up, he goes, when you die, he goes, I'm going to be standing on your grave laughing at you. So I looked at my girlfriend and said, what did he say? So I stood up and I went, what did you say? He's never that big! Noise I don't know about myself because I love gabber music. It's like hardcore techno, but for me it's like a punk variation of techno. It's really fast, aggressive, and it gives me the same feeling. But no one else likes it. Everybody, my girlfriend, ex-girlfriends, my neighbours, people on the bus, the tour bus, they all hate it. But I play it to relax. So I wrote that song, Noise, every fucking 24 hours a day. Noise. I love that, I relax to it. How can you listen to that? I'm